week's portion of Vayeishev. The portion ends with Joseph, after being in prison for many years. The baker and the butler of officers of Pharaoh were also thrown into prison. One morning, Joseph sees that both of them have sour faces, sad faces, mystified faces. Joseph sees that their mood is sullen, and he asks them, "What's wrong with you today?" The Torah says, when Joseph asked them the question, the Torah says, he asked the officers of Pharaoh, "Why are you upset?" The Ramban Nachmanides focuses on the specific addition of those words. We know that we're talking about the officers of Pharaoh. So the Torah should have just said, Joseph asked them, "Why are you upset?" Why does the Torah say the officers of Pharaoh? And the Ramban explains beautifully that the Torah is praising Joseph for his self-esteem, for his ability. He knew that he was smart. He knew that he had the ability to interpret dreams. And he was confident. And he went over to them. They're officers of Pharaoh. He's a Jewish slave imprisoned and accused of a terrible crime, of course, that he didn't do. He's a lowly person, and yet, in a lowly position, and yet he was not afraid to come to these officers of Pharaoh and speak to them and address them and present his opportunity to help them out. So the Rosh Yeshiva, my teacher, asked, okay, we understand. The Ramban Nachmanides is saying Joseph had self-esteem. He's being praised for his self-esteem, his belief in himself, his confidence in himself. Okay, what's the big deal? Many people have self-esteem. Many people have confidence in themselves. Why is the Torah going out of its way to praise Joseph? So the Rosh Yeshiva explained, first of all, one has to understand the difference between self-confidence and arrogance, the difference between self-esteem and arrogance. Self-esteem is to be able to, where a person realizes his own God-given talents, he realizes clearly the abilities and strengths that he has, and appreciates that they're a gift from Hashem. That is that's true self-esteem. Arrogance is where someone has some inflated ideas about who he is and what he is. The Torah is praising Joseph for his clarity, his self-esteem, his ability to recognize his own talents. I'd like to go a step further. Why here? Why at this point? Joseph is in jail. Joseph should be depressed. Joseph should be broken. Joseph should be disheveled. He's in prison for many years. He recognizes his self-esteem. He recognizes his strength. He recognizes his abilities. That is why the Ramban says, Nachmanides says, the Torah is praising Joseph because despite what was going on around him, despite the negative circumstances, the difficult circumstances, the challenging circumstances, he was able to look internally, believe in himself, and remain unaffected, and be able to feel and recognize the talent that he has. It's a beautiful trait, and may Hashem bless us that no matter what happens in our lives, no matter what challenges we face and what difficulties we face, that we can remain internally strong and remember and focus on the strengths that I have and use the strengths that we have to help us in all our situations in life. Have a fabulous Shabbos.